So, croeso to Wrexham News. I'm Carrie Harper.
And I'm Marc Jones.
And today we're talking to Paul MacEoghain, who is working on a really intriguing project which is bringing local folklore to life. What's the project called, Paul? Do you want to talk us through it?
Yeah, it's a short film called Werewolf of Wrexham. It's based on some local folklore that I found online about a thing called the Llangollen Dogman.
Oh, right.
Also, it's been known as the Black Dog or Gwerchi, I think it's. I don't know, my Welsh isn't very good, so I don't know how to pronounce it really, but it's basically a big black dog that was said to haunt the forest of Kayleigh, and it's been spotted as far as Marc and all around the surrounding areas. Apparently in 1790, I mean, I don't know how much of this is true, it's folklore of course. In 1790 a stagecoach was racing between Ruthyn and Wrexham, and it was attacked en route and turned over, and one of the survivors saw this big black dog creature devouring one of the horses. The following year, a farmer found his field of sheep decimated, just ripped apart. And when the local squire and a bunch of the local residents went out with pitchforks, torches ablazing, and they found the farmer cowering in his kitchen under the table, with claw marks in the door and the walls, and he'd been chased back from this field, back to his farmhouse where he'd taken cover. And he said he saw the breath on the windows, and something looked through the window at him, and it had blue eyes like a human. So the squire and the local minister went out with this big posse out into the field, and they found the field, all these dead sheep torn apart, and the poor farmer's collie dog, was sheepdog, ripped apart as well. And over the years there've been other reports. Apparently in the 70s, I think it must be Chester Zoo or some local zoo, it said, went out and set traps, and when they went out the following day, all the traps were empty except one, which had been literally ripped open, the cage bars and torn apart, and big claw marks on the ground and footprints racing off into the hills.
So how far back does the original story go to? Where is it recorded or written down then?
From what I could discover, it goes back as far as the 1990s, when it was first written about by a guy from Liverpool. It was a different fellow from Liverpool. So again, I don't know how much veracity it actually has as far as the story.
Everybody loves a good werewolf story.
It's a good werewolf story, exactly.
Yeah.
The black dog folklore goes right back to medieval times. Probably further than that, because I mean, there's black dog legends all over the country.
Yeah. So okay, that's the basics.
Yeah.
So how did you go from, this is an interesting bit of folklore, myth and legend, to I'm going to make a film about this?
I wrote a script a few years back and entered it into the BBC Writers' Room, new writers competition thing that they run every year. I didn't get picked up, obviously, but it was something I just really enjoyed doing. So I thought, what next? And then I love going through all this sort of the Haunted Wales sites anyway. I mean, I'm fascinated by all that kind of thing. And Richard Holland's written a couple of really good books. Haunted Clwyd, excellent. If you can find a copy, track it down and have a read. It's great. So I just came across this so-called legend of the dogma, the werewolf. I thought, that's interesting. And then I was on YouTube and I was listening to a podcast by a woman called Deborah Hartswell. She has a channel on there, and she was talking about this big black dog in Llangollen. It was written, somebody wrote into it telling her the story about, this is only going back a year or two ago. She'd bought a house in the hills above Llangollen. She went out one morning, it was pitch black, obviously early morning, taking her dog for a walk. And she came to a bridge and she saw the shape at the end of the bridge. She didn't know what it was. And so she's looking at it, and all of a sudden it stands up in front of her, and it was huge. It was about 8 foot tall, man-shaped, but with a head of a wolf. And it growled at her, howled at her, and then ran off into the forests, and so she was absolutely terrified. She wouldn't go out of the house for weeks afterwards. And I thought, oh, right, yeah. So there's a wolf in Llangollen, a werewolf, and that's where the idea came from. Really, I thought, oh, maybe I can write a story. We love to go for walks in the local country walks around Wrexham. We try and find a new one every time to take the dog out. Our daughter Katie, she loves it. She loves going and taking the dogs for walks. And we went to Planspar Woods up to Nant Mill and had a wander through. And I thought, this is great. I wonder if there's a werewolf in here, because it's just so eerie and still and atmospheric, yeah. And so that's where the idea of setting it in Planspar Woods. And because, of course, it's illegal to camp there, so that was an immediate sort of what if a couple of guys went down there and did some wild camping and where they shouldn't have been? What would have happened to them if they shouldn't have been? So that's literally where it came from.
So your background is TV, though, isn't it? Just talk us through sort of your history as well.
Yeah, well, I studied film and television at college, and I went to work in London for a television company there, Reg Grundy, working on light entertainment shows, quiz shows, various different game shows, factual shows as well. We did a thing called How Did They Do That with Des Lynam, Going for Gold. We shot there. Yeah, I mean, that's when I left Grundy. I went to Action Time, did a couple of shows for them. And then I kind of got disinterested, I suppose is the word, really, in working for somebody else, making their programmes. I wanted to make my programmes. I wanted to make my stuff. So I left London, went back home, redid my A-levels. And then I came to Wrexham to study animation at the university. So it was Nelly back then. When I first came.
Yeah, it was when I went there as well. Yeah, going back a while.
So I studied animation there and left it, graduated 2000, and then I met my wife, fell in love, got married, had kids, and everything seemed to be put on a standstill because I became I fell ill. Various. Apparently, it's a thing called a spinal stenosis, which is an error of the spinal cord. So it caused various neuropathies, and I was unable to work, basically. So we just put everything on hold for a few years. And then I thought, I'm an artist, art background. So I started drawing again. Started doing some things called sketch cards for trading card companies. Drew those. That was great fun. And one thing that always stuck with me was when I was a kid, my dad said to me, pick a goal, go for it, do your best at it, achieve your goal, then move on to the next. So that's what I've done all the time. So first of all, I wanted to work in television, did that, left. Wanted to become an animator, became an animator. Wanted to be an illustrator, became an illustrator. I have illustrated a couple of books for a friend's company down in Cardiff. And so then I wanted to become a voice actor, so I became a voice actor, did a couple of courses online, and I've read a few audiobooks for Audible. And now it's become a short filmmaker and make this crazy film about werewolves in Wrexham. So.
Okay. I'm going to be honest here, I'm not a horror film fan.
Right.
But what attracted me to this was the idea that it was a comedy horror. So talk us through the kind of the style of the genre.
Well, I hate to try and there's no way I'm trying to sort of compare it with anything that's gone before, but it's in the same sort of comedic vein as American Werewolf in London, Dog Soldiers, Shaun of the Dead. It's taking that sort of route and that sort of approach to the subject. So I want it to be scary but funny at the same time. I want you to sort of like feel terrified at times when this creature attacks, but immediately afterwards there's a gag to sort of bring you out of that fear and just to sort of
all the blood splattered.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, that's where that's what I want to try and get across is more. It's a light-hearted romp. It's scary. It's funny. It's terrifying at times. It's just you know, crazy.
Yeah.
But there is a local connection to it, which is nice, isn't there? And I think it sounds like this project is bringing together quite a few sort of different threads in terms of your experience. And I think timing-wise, it's really interesting because we've also got the City of Culture bid, which is happening, isn't it, for Wrexham? And this is something that's, it's different.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's what will get people's attention. It's something, it stands out, doesn't it, as something nobody else has done before, which I think might get some attention.
Well, that's what I'm hoping anyway. I mean, Wrexham isn't just a location in the film. It's a character. It's part of it. I want the film to every frame to scream Wrexham, to say this is where it's based. We're proud of the city. We want to put it on the map. We want it out there. We want everybody to know about it. So that's really why I set it here. I want to use as much of the city as possible. I've written scenes that take part in the Turf pub. Whether or not I'll get permission to film there, I don't know.
Talk nicely to Wayne, yeah.
Well, I've written a part for him, so hopefully that'll...
okay, that'll go down well.
That will sway the sort of decision favourably in my direction. But yeah, I mean, I've been here for... Well, it's 30 years next year. I mean, I went for Liverpool and I spent 18 years there, so...
You spent most of your life in Wrexham, yeah.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I feel, this is my city.
Yeah.
You know.
Great.
But I'm half Welsh anyway. My granddad was a Jones, so,
right.
You know.
Like all the best people.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously, to do something like this properly, it costs, doesn't it? So what's the structure you've got set up at the moment? It's a Kickstarter, is it?
Kickstarter campaign, yeah, to fund to try and raise at least half the funds towards the film. It's an awful lot. It's £50,000, which is a lot of money. But when you factor in, we've got to pay for actors, crew, hire equipment. We'll probably need to rent rooms at some point or an office space as a production base. Then there are any fees that need to be paid for location,
of course,
editing, promotion, everything afterwards.
It all costs, doesn't it?
Yeah, it costs. It all adds up. And so I think 50,000 isn't too bad. I'd like to raise more.
I'd say that was a bargain to go to this.
When you consider that Hollywood movies are made in the hundreds of millions, it's a drop in the ocean compared to that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, I think I can get it done for that.
I think it's something that people will find really interesting. And I hadn't heard the folklore tale before either, you know, so it's putting that in front of an audience, well, you know, for a lot of people for the first time as well. So it is very worthwhile, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to get the college involved. I mean, as a, you know,
yeah, that'd be brilliant.
Alumni or maybe, hopefully, if I contact the right people, then third-year students could come along and act as crew, and it could go towards their degree at the end of 3 years. It's all possible. And just to generate local interest, really. There's many people who can tweet about it or share it or send it out there. The chances of higher of using the funds to make the film.
Yeah, let's get that Wrexham sort of name out there. Yeah. The Werewolf of Wrexham hashtag going. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, it would be.
If it gets made, then, or I should say when it gets made, I would love to send it around the festivals.
Fantastic, yeah.
You know, get it worldwide.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to have to write in a bit for Rob and Ryan, aren't you?
That's the
way you
get. Yeah. I mean, I've got a couple of policemen who come to arrest one of the main characters, so I sort of fancy.
Does he see if he fancies a cameo? Yeah, Ryan Reynolds, yeah.
A cameo.
That would be brilliant. I mean, okay, well, we'll make sure we put up the links for the Kickstarter when the podcast goes up. And, you know, public, best of luck with the project. I had a pleasant surprise last night. I was Googling Llangollen Dogman, and the first thing that comes up is, on the AI overview, refers to a film called Werewolf of Wrexham. Werewolf of Wrexham, and it links to your project.
It links to the Kickstarter.
Well, there you go. It's a sign.
You know, brilliant. Meet up.
Oh, well, fantastic. And diolch yn fawr. Thanks very much, Paul, for coming to speak to us.
Thank you for having me, yeah.
Best of luck.
Cheers.